r/ask Reddit. What everyday skill becomes suspicious if you're too good at it? In the US, being really good at your ounces to grams conversions. Especially when it's ounces to grams to street value. Well, I also think Mr. 1-800-COCAINE might also be a dead giveaway. Can someone test that number? Asking for a friend. It is actually a helpline for cocaine addicts. Should've been 1-800-NOCAINE then. That's a protest line left over from when they announced who was going to play Alfred in Batman Begins. Remembering things people tell you. I hate this one cause I'll remember things about people that they forgot they even told me. Leaves me looking like a creeper every time. Yes, it's almost always easier to just pretend like you heard it for the first time. Now double down. Start to tell it back to them with their cadence. Then when they realize what you're doing, just stare at them. I get this. I have a bunch of friends who forget they tell me some secret. So the next time I ask them about it, they become creeped out because I knew about it. Walking with minimal sound. Apparently I do this. It's not even deliberate. I just don't like making noise, I guess. I worry I will give my mom a heart attack one day. I did this deliberately when I was younger, but now it just comes natural. My mom complains about it sometimes because she likes being aware of her surroundings. I'm 6 tall and 300 pounds. I'm silent when I walk, even in dress shoes, and people constantly bring it up to me. Sneaky fat guy. Your joints are grateful. If you walk without sound, it just means you have a good walking gait. Hard heel first strikes are terrible for your body. Maybe almost 2 centuries ago, Disraeli was involved in a game of billiards and said to his very good opponent, "Sir, your prowess at this game bespeaks a wasted youth." Damn, it's the old get a life ducking nerd. I think it's more about how pool billiards were, and to an extent are, working class sports in the UK, being often played in pubs. So it's probably more like you spent way too much time in pubs. You ex-drunkard. Could be wrong. Disraeli was a Tory. He wasn't calling the guy a drunkard. He was calling him a poor. That minigame in Mario Party 8 where you have to shake the soda can fastest to make your soda shoot up the highest. Just shows you're experienced with a shake weight, whereas being proficient in the shake weight makes it look like. It just shows that you're proficient with blender bottles, and proficiency with blender bottles shows that. It just shows that you know how to give a shitty hand job. Hey, I will have you know my hand jobs are marginally mediocre. Thank you very much. Memorizing names, phone numbers, favorite colors, credit card numbers, people's daily routines, usual whereabouts, what they had to eat last night, how many times they went to the restroom, how many times they walked past your tree, etc. Sounds perfectly sensible to me. Any mother ducker walks past my tree more than once. You can be damn sure I'm keeping count. Being efficient at work. Finish too quickly and rest a minute. Lazy. Or finish too quickly and set a new precedent for how much you're expected to get done in a day. Learned that the hard way from my last job. I created macros and shifts so I could have some downtime. They filled my downtime with an entire other person's job. Like I'm trying to be efficient cause I'm ducking lazy. Why did they have to ruin everything? IDK if this is an everyday skill, but I'm still gonna comment. I was a bartender for years and years. I used to memorize what people drank, like to the point of creepy. Example, someone could come in one time then stop in 6 mo later and I would remember what they drank. I got called out on it a few times. One guy's in particular found it so strange. He came in, had a vodka gimlet and left. About 3 mo later came back in and I looked at him and said vodka gimlet, and he told me that was kinda weird. I remembered that. I tried to explain that it didn't make him special or anything. Tried explaining I couldn't remember names or even what we talked about, but I almost always remembered a customer's go-to drink. He totally thought I was full of shit and had a crush on him or was creepy. It always hurt my feelings when people acted put off by it, because I thought it was pretty duckin' cool of me. I would be impressed if I was on the other side of that bar. Whatever I should have said, I always remember the drinks I poisoned, but that would have cost me my job and maybe landed me on probation. Sorry for the duckin' novel. Okay, I'm done. You'd be my favorite bartender in the world. I don't go out enough to have a regular spot or get recognized places. yet always wanted to stupid movie go-to of just getting the usual. If I only saw you once every few months and could still get the right drink off the usual, I'd make my bloody night. The usual sounds fun until every bartender in town has an idea of what your usual is and they look so damn pleased when they just serve it up to you before you've even sat down and ducking. Damn it, Haley, I was in the mood for a margarita today. But yeah, G&T is totally my normal drink. Thanks so much, you're the best. I usually muster the courage to order what I really want by the third drink or so, which is tough because at lunch I really only planned on having the one, but here we are. Knowing who someone is by the sound of their steps. I work in a nursing home and I can tell whose dirty diaper is stinking up the place by the specific smell. Is that wit? Ducking hell. Some time ago we dropped my girlfriend's parents home after dinner to find that they had locked themselves out of their house. Her dad was going to break a window, but it was raining and cold so he was a little reluctant. My girlfriend had a grooming kit in her handbag, hair clips, tweezers, and so on. Me, being a bottle of wine in, thought I'd try picking a lock for the first time ever, but I'd seen it in video games, so how hard could it be? It turns out that it was ridiculously easy and I had them inside their house within 30 seconds of getting started. I was jiggling something around and all of a sudden the lock popped open. They haven't looked at me the same way since. If you said it was your first time, I would have probably replaced that lock the next day. That was my first thought too, but I tried again on the same lock when sober and gave up after 10 minutes. They haven't replaced the lock. Drunk you is a master criminal. Drunk locksmith idiot savant would be a great character in an ensemble heist movie. Hans, we're running out of time. What are you talking about? The alarm won't trip for another hour. I know, but we ran out of scotch and, oh number, he's starting to sober up. Dramatic heist music plays. Getting stains out of carpet. Furious Tide pen scribbling. Creepiness inversely proportionate to number of kids you have. Or the amount of wine you are known to drink, which may, in fact, be itself proportionate to the number of kids you have. Hiding. Milking a cow if you're not a dairy farmer. Actually a skill I'll look for in a woman. But does she have plow experience? Or huge tracts of land? Being able to tell who is in the bathroom with you at work. I almost always know there's one bathroom, and the way to that bathroom is like a three-way intersection where my office door is. People walking towards the door would only be coming from the back of the building, and that's only going to be one of two people. It's easy to tell which way anyone came from just by listening when they walk by, and the sound and speed of their footsteps. The other way is on the opposite side of the building, and again, I would hear them coming from that direction before they pass by my door. 90% of the time anyone in the bathroom is gonna be the guy with ibs that shits 20 times a day. Recognizing people's smells can get kind of weird when you're good at it. When I was 10/11 in school, if someone left a jumper on the playground and it didn't have a name in it, I would just smell it and give it back to whoever owned it. Once I grew up a bit more, I realized it was weird to smell people's clothes, so I stopped. But I can still recognize someone's possessions just by their smell. You must have a crazy good sense of smell. Mine's pathetic. I doubt I could even pick up my GFS or family's smell on their clothes, let alone schoolyard kids. My boss was setting up my time tracking account and it didn't work. He had to try to log in within. I told him the shortcut to open an incognito window in Chrome. Ctrl+Shift+N, but thinking about it, the shortcut is much more useful to a developer who has to test logins or unauthorized access occasionally than to your average masturbator. I also think if you are just searching stuff, incognito is brilliant. Stops your URL search bar being filled with crap because you wanted to know how far the moon was or what time a match is on. Guessing passwords. It's kinda sad the amount of people whose passwords are password 123, etc. User, admin, password, admin. Opening a beer bottle with something other than a bottle opener. Don't you judge me. Don't feel judged. If any item has a relatively sharp edge anywhere on it, it is in fact a bottle opener. Knife sharpening, to the point where the person's blades gleam with a precise edge. Well, duck. I thought people assumed I cooked a lot. They should. I cook a lot since coming to university and made sure to invest in top-notch knives. Sharpening them is fun and satisfying. Though I always make a point to be extra safe with them when someone's nearby. I can always tell that they don't edge when I'm waving my knife around whilst cooking. Every place I've worked I always memorize each and every person, names, physical features, and vehicle, usually in case of an emergency because you never know. It takes time but you learn a lot. Weighing small quantities and knowing convenient reference weights. Egg the weights of currency. Identifying off-white powders. Almost caught myself out once. Had just turned 18. Was a smoker. Asked to bum a cigarette from a family member and they sarcastically tossed me a pouch and said sure if you can make one. 30 seconds later I tossed the pouch back to them and lit up my cigarette. They asked you roll your own cigs? I said number. Oops. When I was a kid I watched a lady roll a cigarette in 2 seconds flat, like it was an innate reflex. I asked my mum if she noticed and she replied with trademark of a chain smoker. Saving and investing money. Unless you have a high-paying career, people wonder how you earned that money or if you are in lots of debt or they assume you are cheap. This man. Holy crap. I've stopped talking to people at work about saving investing. The comments I get are stupid as hell. Knowing how to mount a horse when you don't know how to ride. The quotation marks make this one so much worse. Recognizing behavior patterns. Most people will recognize obvious behavior patterns like Justin is late for work every day. But as soon as you start predicting someone's future actions based on some fact you seem like a creep stalker. I work with a lot of different people on flexible hours but a tight schedule. I know who I need to tell to be there 15 minutes early, who I need to tell to be there 30 minutes early, and who will show up on time. It's an important part of the job. Recognizing reposts. Remembering things. People can find it creepy and it's often more favorable to pretend you forgot something or need a few seconds to recall it or just generally act like you know less or are aware of less than you actually do. And no, I'm not saying I have some photographic genius level memory or am incredibly perceptive or something, but it still applies and it's often silly and feels like wasting time and sometimes it's transparent when other people do it too. If you're in the US, using metric of you know it well you're either a scientist or a drug dealer. Are people not reading the question? People don't want to appear suspicious by reading well. Eating a banana quickly. Started a new job recently, much higher station than I'm used to, working around suit-type professionals and having to learn the politics game, etc. So one Friday night my new boss recommends that the team, 6 of us, head over to the bar down the road to shoot some pool. The place was very fancy. I'm talking gold leaf gilding along the wall paneling, extremely elaborate pool table set in the middle, private waitress just for our area, the works. So my boss is apparently an avid pool player, as he looked to tell us. Out of respect I would just nod and act impressed when he would try to explain this to us. I didn't want to tell him I'd grown up on a table and played in leagues tournaments nearly nightly. We start to play and the new guy gets to play the boss first. It quickly becomes awkward. Boss starts making a series of uncomfortable excuses as to why he's losing, starting with the lighting and ambience to the cloth quality of the table to the size of the balls. I told myself to miss on purpose more than once but I couldn't do it. It felt deceitful. So the game ended pretty quickly and the boss began asking me a series of questions about the smoke and alcohol filled bars. I'd spent my time in learning this skill. Ultimately it helped me gain some respect going forward with boss and team. But it was a very awkward couple of hours reflecting and giving my boss a brief window into my unsavory bar crawling past. Manipulating others. Opening incognito mode with the shortcut. Really pushing the meaning of skill here. For fun we used to vote for a man of the match, MVP, and dong of the day, like an anti-MVP, at the end of our Sunday League soccer matches. The two winners of those awards had to race by drinking a can of fizzy soda, the fastest idea being the participants would struggle and it would be funny. One day I was in that race, and I necked that thing so fast and the other guy had barely started. I kinda disappointed everyone who wanted to see two people suffer through a difficult race. I used to drink a lot of soda. That race kinda exposed me : knowledge about animal breeding seasons and locations. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.